Oh, jeez. Oh, my goodness. What am I doing? I did not have my desk as tight as I thought I did. I just leaned on it and I tried to fall over. Hello. We're live, and I'm going to try not to break my desk or hurt myself. I'm Amanda Cull. This is a comic page I'm working on. It's from I Am the First. This is Chapter 2, Page 3. We started this page last week on the stream, and we're going to keep going and see how close we can get to finishing the pencils today. That is the goal. I don't know if I'll quite finish the pencils, but I'll try to get close anyway. So let's see, I had started working on the breakfast table here, getting those tightened up. So I have everything roughed. I have all of the rough, blocked in mannequins and bits of the background and everything for each panel. So now I'm tightening up my pencils, trying to get them to the point where they actually look like the things they're supposed to so that I can ink them. Hello! Hey! Story Comic and Hungry. Story Comic being Barney Smith, of course. Thanks for joining me. Okay, I'm just pausing for a moment as I pull up some reference on my screen here. Because I have only been drawing these characters for a handful of pages so far, so I still have to refer to my sketches and some reference photos of what do these people look like? What do their faces look like from different angles? I'm still not entirely familiar. Hey Keith, thanks for joining me. So these pages do take me a little longer than Age of Night pages to pencil, just because I'm still figuring out what the characters look like. So I go a little bit slower. And real world stuff is really labor intensive to draw. How is everyone? This week is proving interesting. My kids have gone into remote schooling mode again because of outbreaks in their school system. So that's made my week real interesting all of a sudden. Okay, now here's a question. How do you hold a fork? How does one hold a fork? Let's see. I guess if I'm eating eggs, I'm holding a fork kind of like this. He's using his right hand. So yeah, I guess kind of like that. So So what does that look like from that angle? We got the lower fingers kind of curled, pinky's kind of curled around the bottom. You do this stuff all the time as a comic artist. You're just like, wait, how do I do basic things? Thumb is kind of opposite in between the first and middle finger. Okay. Because it's you could just draw a goofy cartoon fist. He's holding a fork like this, but most people don't actually do that. Yeah, there you go. I mean, that works if you're doing a super cartoony style, but I'm not, so it doesn't. It's gonna look like he's actually holding the fork. See how successful I am with this. Those fingers are a little more spread out, and that's the end of the fork that the pinky is braced against. And it's gonna go through Looks kind of goofy. So, downward stabby hold. The downward stabby hold is maybe not the most effective way to eat scrambled eggs. Unless they're really firm scrambled eggs. I feel like if they're at all loose scrambled eggs, that's going to present some problems. They just kind of squish away from the fork. And like eating his breakfast while reading this comic. All right, he's got his wearing his flannel like he is in the first chapter. So he's kind of always wearing this flannel all the time in the like the entire story, because it's like an overshirt, and it's just like his thing. He's always wearing it. And like, yes, most people don't wear the exact same thing every day, but especially like as a high school kid, I feel like it's very common to have that one article of outerwear that you just always have on you. I know I had one when I was in high school, so I don't find it unrealistic to be like, yeah, he's wearing his flannel over whatever different shirt literally every day. I do feel like that break in the collar is too high, though. We're going to move that down a little bit towards kind of behind his arm. All right, so his shoulder is here. I somehow lost this, so we're going to try to re-find where the rest of this kid's body is. Oh, no, that's too far over. His arm is like down here. Let's correct that. That's better. Hey, Spud, thanks for joining me. Working on a comic page from I Am the First, the big comic project I am currently in the middle of. It's funding right now on Kickstarter. We've already smashed our initial goal and are working our way through stretch goals, and I'm slightly terrified, and I need to actually work on the rest of the book now. I completed the first chapter in order to like be ready for the Kickstarter, and now it's like, oh, that's right, this is an entire book with 5 of these I need to work on now. So that's what we're doing. Age of Night is still running as well, of course. I got interrupted last week because, oh my gosh, my booster vaccine like hit me like a ton of bricks. And I was like, I really want to finish this comic today, but I'm like falling over asleep. So I was like, well, I'll just push that back a week rather than try to rush it and have it be really goofy looking. So that'll be posting tomorrow. Trying to just get the basic lines of the plaid pattern on his flannel in. I think the plaid flannel actually started as like just a joke where I always complain about when I have to do, fun stress time. It's great. I always joke about how like I complain about how I, want some of my least favorite things when I have like freelance illustrations or like when people want me to do chainmail. It's just really tedious. It just takes a long time. And then when we started working on the character designs for this, and Jeremy was like, I'm going to make you draw everybody wearing plaid because obviously there's no chainmail in a, story set in like a contemporary story. And I was like, I'm not afraid of plaid. So I drew a character sketch of Alec wearing a plaid overshirt. And Jeremy's like, no, that really suits him. I like it. I'm like, oh no, what have I done to myself? All right, we're going to do this little pile of mail here on the table. There's always the pile of mail on the table. This is like some kind of flyer. Just constant pile of crap that's on everybody's surfaces in their homes. Well, okay, maybe not everybody. I'm not the sort of housekeeper that my surfaces are always clear and pristine and beautiful. Like they'll be clean, but they'll still be covered in like assorted junk. Random objects. Mail, things that need to get put away somewhere else. That sort of thing. There's a pile of mail on the table. And we've got another chair over here at the table. That chair is looking a little wonky, but that's okay. That's okay. I'll fix it when I ink it. I'll use a straight edge and it'll look less wonky. Okay, so now working on the background here a little bit. We've got... So I drew like a floor plan of Alec's house, because we do spend a lot of time here, and it also just helps the space to look more like real, to know what's going on through each door frame. instead of just like through the door frame. Like I'm not going to have a ton of detail, but through the door frame, I want there to at least be like an indication that there's another room and it not just be like color. There's just a color in here because nothing outside of the room you're currently in exists. I'm not saying that that's like a bad way to do a comic. It's also, sometimes you don't need all of that stuff going on in the background, but I wanted the spaces to look really like real and lived in and have kind of a character of their own. That is some wonky door frame. What is happening? Fridge here. Nope, runaway eraser. Yeah, obviously these lines are not lining up the way they're supposed to, so this will be fun to correct on the inking stage. Right. There's fridge door, handle on fridge door. Little like brand badge up in the corner. All right, so what sort of stuff are we going to have on this fridge? There needs to be a dent in the side of it there. That's important. I have a little bit of that like edge rust going on the top there. Well, there should also be stuff up on top of the fridge. I don't know about you guys, but I have like tons of junk up on top of my fridge. I personally don't have a lot of cabinets, and so I like actually put like bread and chips on top of the fridge. But I know a lot of people just keep like maybe serving things that they don't use very often on top of the fridge, or like little baskets of odds and ends. Again, I want this house to look like realistically kind of cluttered. So we're going to have like a little basket of odds and ends. It's a bowl and a pitcher, just some stuff up there. Populate that a little bit. Has a little thing of like important phone numbers. And the old, everyone when they have a kid, they get given like the poison control magnet or sticker. Yeah, I don't have enough counter space to keep them somewhere down on the counter, and I don't have a lot of cabinet space either. Like I have a relatively small kitchen, and so it's like, well, where am I going to put bread and chips? I'm going to stick them on top of the fridge. It also helps I don't have like an enormous fridge. I have like a regular sized fridge, so I can actually reach up there. No, I'm not going to put Age of Night on the table. That's goofy. All right, so there's our little poison control sticker. What else will we have? We'll have a couple of nice little pictures. In the fridge. And I don't want to put too much more down in here because that clutters around the focus around Alex's face. So that'll do for now. All right. There's the other door frame. The ceiling is not terribly high. So there's that. Okay, and then we've got a little bit of stuff in here where you can see into the living room. So we've got kind of the edge of a chair. We've got the edge of a... Oops, is that supposed to be the bottom of that door frame? Hold on. Let me follow that perspective line. No. Okay. That's nothing. I'm gonna erase that before it confuses me further. Got like the edge of a lamp over here. It's the corner of the room. We've got the edge of a picture, which I will have to look at the previous page where we saw part of the living room, because I don't remember exactly what I put in that picture. I think it's just like flowers or something. That'll also give you an idea of the size of the living room. So, all right, so the first panel is actually finished. Hooray. All right, is my pencil gonna... Curses. Hate it when they do that. I felt like this pencil sharpener was working a little better than my little tiny metal one, but I think this pencil is just not cooperative. Okay, that seems to be holding up. All right, now I'm going to pull up other reference, bring it over here where I can see it. No, don't take over the whole screen. I need to still see my chat. Goodness. All right. This character. Coming in, causing problems. Trying to figure out the way that his face is shaped. Saw him briefly in some of the other pages that I've posted about. I know I worked on page 12 on the first chapter on a previous stream. Thanks. I appreciate it. I'm pretty proud of what's coming out. The depth will come through a lot more once it's inked and colored. Obviously, right now I'm not really sweating my weights when I'm just penciling, so those will get pushed in the ink stage, and then you'll see the back recede a lot more. All right. Is he saying anything in this first panel? No, he's not, so his mouth can be closed. I personally don't actually mind if a character that is speaking has their mouth closed, but I know it can sometimes look awkward depending. It really depends on what else is going on in the panel. the way that eyebrow's coming out. Let's try that again. Now he just looks confused. What is happening here? Let's try that again. That's what I mean. I don't know how these characters' faces are supposed to look yet. I've actually drawn a panel with this, like one panel with this guy in it so far. That's more like it. Okay, now he actually looks menacing and not just lost. Scruffy face. This guy. I don't like that. Okay. Don't like that hand gesture. Let's try that again. It's looking a little weird. And then we've got a hand over here. That's gripping a bottle. This is another one of those, like, how do you do basic things? I'll have to figure out here in a moment. Top. So I try to figure out my ellipses here. Bottle. All right. And he's supposed to be wearing like a jacket. Like he's about to, either he just came from somewhere or he's going somewhere. He's wearing a jacket. It's going to be the type that's got the elastic cuffs and sleeves. You know the type of jacket we're doing here. You've seen it. It's Kind of like a take on a bomber. I'm sure there's like a specific term for it, but I don't know if you would still call it a bomber. It's not like a true bomber that's like, leather and shearling, but maybe they still call it that. I don't know. I'm not actually very good at like fashion terms or anything. Okay, he's getting there. He's looking a lot more like the idea is clearer. We just need to nail down some of these details a little bit. Tighten up some of this. Where is my other eraser? Where'd you go? There you are. For some of these itty bitty bits, we just need to tighten up a little bit. Oh, snapped my pencil tip. All right. Let's get these fingers doing stuff that makes sense without looking like they're trying to escape his hand, which is kind of what the first sketch was looking like. Look at his pinky sticking out on the bottom there. Pinky's out on your morning beer. Sure. That's an awkward tangent. I don't like that. I don't like that those 2 points were like meeting directly at the tip of the beer bottle. Awkward, awkward, awkward tangent. We're going to try to fix that. Make that a little less awkward. Clean up some of that underdrawing so it's not a big confusing scribble. There we go. Here's his other hand as he's kind of staggering into frame there. All right, move this reference out of the way for the moment. There's the bottom edge of that jacket. Bottom of his shirt. Ah. All right, and there's the door frame. So here he comes. So we'll go ahead and actually include the edge of that same chair so that you will realize that, aha, he's coming from right here. I would think that's pretty obvious anyway, just because this is like in pretty prime real estate in this panel, and then it's followed up by person appearing in doorway. But just to be clear, I don't think it hurts to reinforce it. It's not like I'm not like repeating a panel of the same information just on its own. Things are still changing. I'm just trying to help to reinforce where things are happening, if that makes sense. Words are hard. All right, so we got 2 panels done. Top tier done, penciled. We're at 37 minutes. The stream usually lasts for about an hour. At the end of an hour, I'm gonna go stretch, and you should get up and stretch, and we should all get a glass of water or something similar. I think I've got some emails I need to respond to, that sort of thing. So I had a busy day and didn't get to actually like be in the studio at all today. It's annoying. All right. Back of the chair. Which hopefully actually looks like a chair. You understand completely about needing to get up and stretch, or about not getting around to answering emails? Which part? Does this gesture make sense? No, it does not. Wait, how do you use a fork? Goodness. Okay, so I'm holding the fork like this to eat. I kind of, how am I? It's like such a, oh, words are hard. Yes, words are hard. I do. That is a thing. We can all relate to that. Now I can't remember how to use a fork. It's such like a muscle memory thing. If you're like, hold on, I have to stop and examine how I use a fork. It's very difficult to do. How does one eat with a fork? What does that look like? Does it look like when you use a fork? I don't know. Do you know? Like a pencil, but with the wrist turns. Oh, that's a very good explanation, Keith. Let's see. What do we have here? I just want to see a picture of somebody jabbing some food on their plate. kids, even better. Perfect. This girl is eating something with a fork. I guess that kind of sort of works. It's not at all what you're describing, Keith, but I think that also works. It might work well for the shot that I have here. I mean, that's exactly what I've been trying to do here. Is like, wait, how do I fork? How do I use a fork? As if I haven't been feeding myself for over 30 years. Suddenly can't remember how I'm supposed to do that. All right. I'm gonna he's just kind of picked up some eggs and has not quite gotten them to his mouth yet because he's busy reading comic. Yeah, I think that should work. Got a box of props next to my desk for taking pictures of my hand holding them. Yeah, I do stuff like that all the time. It's just like something like eating with a fork is just like you don't like it's difficult to make yourself pretend to do it because you're not actually doing it and your technique does change depending on what you're eating too. It's like when Hungry was joking about using the downward stabby hold. It's like, well, okay, that works for like steak or cut up potatoes or something. It does not work for scrambled eggs, which is what Alec is eating in this scene. It's the type of thing that it's like, wait, now that I have to explain how to do it or pretend how to do it instead of actually just doing it, my brain's like, I don't know how to do that. Like I'm trying to teach my youngest how to tie his shoes right now. Have you actually like slowed down and tried to show someone how to tie shoes? This 100% muscle memory thing that you don't think about doing anymore. It's surprisingly difficult. It's like, wait, how do I do that? I know how to do it, but I don't think about it. I just do it. That hand is still looking a wee bit awkward, but better than what I had going on before. That's for sure. All right, I should actually put his plate of food in front of him. He's still got some eggs and a little bit of toast. Juice off to the side here. All right, there's the book he's reading that looks a little bit too thick. It's supposed to be like a trade paperback of a superhero comic, so it's not terribly thick. It's like maybe 150 pages or something, so not super thick, but larger format than like a novel normally is. Got Alec kind of looking over like, oh no. Am I about to be in a conversation? I don't want that. That's not a thing that I want. That eyebrow is a little thick. Whoop, what's happening with your ear there, sir? Where's it going? It's like trying to escape. His ears stick out a little bit, but they don't need to be trying to fly off the side of his head. There we go. Ah! Runaway eraser. Okay, now we gotta get that flannel pattern in here again. Doop, doop. And of course, the thing you have to remember when you're doing a pattern like this is it needs to follow the form. So I can't just draw a bunch of horizontal and vertical intersecting lines and be like, good enough. Like, no, they need to actually be following the shape of the shirt over Alec's body, which is the tricky part. All right, got Alec looking over. Yeah, you can see these definitely take me a lot longer than Age of Night pages, because if I had been at the same starting point on an Age of Night page at the beginning of the stream, I would probably already be almost done. And because I've been working for like 50 minutes and I've gotten 2 panels drawn. It just goes a lot slower. Taking a sip. This is one of those instances wherein, like, I don't really mind that there's no way he could actually be speaking in the position that I have him drawn in, because he's like taking a sip from the bottle of beer and also has a speech bubble in this panel. But it's kind of like a long pause moment of a panel where it's pretty obvious that what is supposed to be happening is that it's kind of a long drawn out moment of him taking sips of beer while staring Alec down and talking to him. Like, that this is the setup. And I don't necessarily feel that you need like multiple panels to describe that. That you can get the idea of that is what is going on from one panel without necessarily having to break down each separate action of stare down, drink from beer, and speak in two separate panels. I think you can kind of communicate that all at once, and you're not really losing anything. Like, we get the idea of what's happening here. I need to work on getting the angle in that bottle of beer correct, however, in the profile, so that it actually looks like a beer bottle. That looks like a beer bottle, right? Yeah, I just don't really feel like you need to, like, that all of that is pretty well conveyed without necessarily making a whole bunch of separate panels to describe all of that. Maybe some people will think it looks a little goofy to have a word balloon coming from him while there's something covering his mouth. I know some people are very, very particular about that, but I'm not that particular about it. And as long as Jeremy doesn't get, the writer, my collaborator on this project, as long as he doesn't get irritated by it, then I'm not super worried about it. We'll see. I'm about to get an angry message in my inbox. No, he can't have the bottle on his mouth and be talking in the same panel. I hate it. Anyway, we're getting toward the end here, so I'm going to go ahead and do the YouTube things and remind you of all the things. I'm Amanda Call. I am normally on this stream working on my comic, Age of Night, which you can read on ageofnight.com, but that's not what I'm working on tonight. Tonight I am working on I Am the First, comic project that I am drawing, and my friend Jeremy Flagg is writing. It is currently funding on Kickstarter. I put a link in the description if you want to check it out. We're already funded, so it's gonna happen, which is why I'm working on it, because now I need to finish the book. Now I need to draw the rest of the book. Thankfully, Jeremy's already written it. I mean, might go through a couple little, like, I don't have a TikTok. Barney, told you, I'll get one when you do. Yes, you should check it out. I'd appreciate it. What else? You can also check out my webcomic, Age of Night, at ageofnight.com. It's ageofnight.com. I'll be doing Age of Night pages on the stream again at some point, too. I'm probably going to jump back and forth between the two projects for a while, because this is going to take me, like, better part of a year to finish, so. But Age of Night will still be going on at the same time, so I have both of them happening. You can also support me on Patreon if you would like to. That's patreon.com/ageofnight. You get free comics, and you get to see Age of Night pages a week early, and other little behind-the-scenes things, which is fun. And it helps to support me, and I super appreciate it. You can like this video and subscribe to this channel if you've not already done so. I do these live streams every week at Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. So I'm going to check my reference before I completely commit to the rest of his face there. I'm just going to leave that a little vague until I get a chance to look at that, which I will be doing probably as soon as the stream ends, so that I'm not spending the last couple minutes of the stream just staring at my reference images instead of drawing. That's kind of silly. Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Age of Night. You can follow me on Instagram at Amanda Call Art. I think that's all the things. I do not have a TikTok, as much as Barney wants me to. Turn this while I try to get this last finger to do what it needs to do. There we go. All right, I think that's going to do it for this week. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. I greatly appreciate it. We started with everything just roughed in. Now I've got 2 panels completed. The third one is well on its way. Should be completed pretty soon. And yeah, that's what I've got going on so much. Thanks, everybody, and I will see you next time. Bye.